one game away from another NBA Finals appearance as Eric Spoelstra's team embarrassed the #1 seed Celtics in Game 3 on Sunday night. As for the C Superstars, there's a whole lot of chirping in a different direction. Jason, is all the criticism getting to you?
I deleted Twitter from my phone to start the playoffs, so honestly, I haven't seen anything good, bad, or indifferent, since Game 1 against the Hawks. So, I'm certain after every game you win, you're the best player and the best team, and when you lose, you're not the star, and the team's not good enough. So I'm certain there'll be some of that, but out of sight, out of mind.
The obvious letdown. I feel like we let our fan base, organization down, we let ourselves down, and it was collective. We can point fingers, but in reality, it was just embarrassing.
I just didn't have him ready to play. I should have, whatever it was, whether it was the starting lineup, whether it was an adjustment, I have to get them in a better place, ready to play, and that's on me.
Okay. Stephen A., it's hard to see those guys so defeated. I want to start with you. Do you think the Celtics should fire Joe Mazzulla if they get swept?
I'm going to give you a genuine, I don't know.
Okay.
Here's why. In all seriousness, I'm not scared to say if I think the man deserved to be fired, I think he deserves to be fired. I'm not ready to say that. I will tell you I'm tempted to go there when I see great players like Jason Tatum, like Jaylen Brown, look so defeated minutes after getting their heart snatched out of their chest on national television. And I'm not talking about just them two. I'm talking about the Celtics collectively getting their heart snatched out of their chest. This team against these Miami Heat looked devoid of character and toughness. Mm-hmm. And when you look at them right now, we can point to how they're 0-4 this postseason when shooting worse than 35% from three-point range. We can point to stuff like that. We can look at, last time, I'm just looking at some of these numbers here, Kendrick Perkins, they allowed the Heat to shoot them right now. We can point to how they're 0-4 this postseason when shooting worse than 35% from three-point range. We can point to stuff like that. We can look at, last time, I'm just looking at some of these numbers here, Kendrick Perkins, they allowed the Heat to shoot 57% from the floor, including 54% from three-point range. We can point to all of that. And we can look at Joe Mazzulla and some decisions not calling timeouts and all of this other stuff, some of the substitutions you brought up, how you started Derek White and put Robert Williams III coming off the bench, knowing what he means to this team. You can point to those things, and those are valid things because we know that's not a mistake Ime Udoka would have made, nor is it a mistake Brad Stevens would have made, even though Brad Stevens never took them to the finals. Hell, he took a younger version of these boys to Game 7, and only LeBron James took them out. And it took 7 games to do just that. So it doesn't look good for Mazzulla. But this is a moment where I'm going to tell you that there is a word that comes to my mind, Molly and Perk, that I want everybody to embrace. Justice. This is justice for the Boston Celtics. I'm talking to Wick Krausbeck. I'm talking to Boston Celtics ownership. I feel very adamant about that. Ime Udoka's actions, his transgressions, are not something we need to revisit. He was wrong. If he had gotten fired, no problem. If he had been kept, no problem. But for this organization to handle that situation in the classless fashion that they did, as far as I'm concerned, having a press conference where you said nothing nor did anything but bring even more attention to Ime Udoka, all right, and his transgressions. I have said it countless times over these airwaves, and I'll repeat it one last time. All of us in this business know plenty of folks in the world of sports, for sports teams, that has stuff going on in the office. It was an HR matter. We know people who've been fired, Molly, and Perk knows I'm telling the truth, who've been fired for doing the same thing. We never heard a word. But now everybody know what Ime Udoka did because of the way the Boston Celtics handled it. And then we want to be sensitive, obviously, to the other party, as we should. But nobody thought about the lack of sensitivity to Nia Long.
Come on.
And what attention it brought to her. And how her name and her child were raked through the coals, put out on public display. They didn't think about that.
Come on.
They didn't care. And so for me, when I think about that and I think about what's happening now, maybe it's because you have the coach you shouldn't have. Because he should have been an assistant on the bench. Maybe even though he knows basketball backwards and forwards and he can coach, all right, because he did have a good season. He wasn't a bad coach by any stretch of the imagination. But it's clear he wasn't Ime Udoka. All right? And so when maybe you're suffering when you're suffering. Remember, Jaylen Brown spoke out about it. But they were muzzled to some degree. Marcus Smart spoke out about it, but they were muzzled to some degree. Because not only did you make that decision about Ime Udoka, you insisted that the players not even comment about it nor speak to him.
Come on.
I mean, this is what they did. And so when you think about it from that perspective and you look at what's happening to the Boston Celtics right now, I'm sad for Jason Tatum. I love Jason Tatum. Love him to death. Jaylen Brown is that dude. It's a real brother right there. Got nothing but love for him. It's a bad time for him. It's a bad time for them. They don't look good right now based on their performance on the basketball court. Those are good brothers. Marcus Smart is a good brother. They got a whole Al Horford. They got a whole bunch of good brothers on the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics organization is a damn good organization. But leadership from the top in that particular issue, all right, stained this franchise. And as far as I'm concerned, it should for years to come. It is justice what is happening to them right now. That's right, I said it. And I mean every damn syllable that I uttered.
So, Stephen A., when man, you just spoke the gospel. When I think about Joe Mazzulla.
Hold it, take your time. Get a little water. Take your time,
I'm good.
Okay.
No, I'm good.
No, you need water.
No, I don't.
No, you do.
When I think about Joe,
just trust me, I care about you.
Watch it come back. When I think about Joe Mazzulla, and I think about when they gave him the title, I said they should wait till the playoffs. I said they should wait till the playoffs to see what he's going to do. Don't give him the head title just yet. Don't jump the gun just yet. They did it anyway. When they lost Damon Stoudemire, I said, don't do it. Don't do it. Trying to keep Damon Stoudemire for the rest of the season because when you lose him, I think you're going to lose the connection that you had between Joe Mazzulla and the players. Now, here we are. So I think about the firing of Doc Rivers. I think about the firing of Budenholzer. And I think about the fire of Monty Williams and Nick Nurse. Okay? All of those coaches had excellent careers as coaches and did a hell of a job where they were. Two of them won championships. What makes him any different? When you come down to thinking about who had the best roster in the NBA, it was the Boston Celtics. This is a team that went to the finals last year. This is a team that picked up Malcolm Brogdon, put him on the bench, convinced him to take the six-man role. He won six-man of the year, and you're on the verge of getting swept. Swept. And your players are playing like 15 yards of doo-doo right now. Your star players. You can't even put them in position to be successful. And yes, he has lost the locker room. Because when your players don't come out in a must-win situation in the game 3 with a sense of urgency, damn it, they're not listening to you. And you have to make sure that you have the responsibility to Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum if you want to keep those two together.
Yep.
Because I'm going to tell you this right now, Molly and Stephen A., Jaylen Brown ain't just committed to the Celtics like that. And people can say what they want to say, but I'm telling you straight up, he's not. So if I'm the Celtics, I take that in consideration and ask why he's not committed to the organization 100%.
Okay, fair enough. We got to go, but I want to tell everyone at home a little secret. Stephen A. and Perk are in the same building right now. Stephen A., I need you to get up, go get some water. Please help out your boy. Go run down the hallway and bring him a water or like some tea with some honey. Thank you. Meanwhile,
I was getting choked up, Molly. I was getting choked up.
Yeah, could you share? Well, don't share it. That's gross. Get him a fresh one. All right, when we come back here on First Take, the Lakers fighting to stay alive tonight. Friend of the show, actor